everyone, and welcome to Mahtomedi High School for Metro East Conference Baseball on SCC Sports. Today we have the Cadets of St. Thomas Academy taking on the hometown Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Hunter Pinky for all the fun here from Mahtomedi High School. It should be a really good one. Two teams top half of the conference. Honestly, two teams that have a strong reputation of state tournaments, and both teams looking to get back on track and punch their tickets to another state tournament. There's a good look at our starter, Ethan Felling, for the Zephyrs. While we have a moment in the action, we'll take you through the batting order for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Now here's your batting order for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Batting first, playing center, Charlie Probst, followed by Braunhausen right, and then Most at the catcher spot, 5-6. Nilson Ruiz, followed by Bennett Fritz, Leighton Gates, and Dominic Baez. And that'll round out your cadet batting order. We'll see your defense here shortly as Charlie Probst is set in the batter's box. We are underway here. Shows bunt, pulls back, but is in there anyway for a strike. Count moves to 0-1. St. Thomas sporting the new grays from a season ago as that's popped out down the right field line. Looking to make the catch is the right fielder, Winston Wisely, for out number 1. Next out. So this will bring up Cole Braunhausen, the shortstop. He had a very strong outing against the South St. Paul Packers last week. The Cadets are coming off a 13-1 win over the Packers, while Mahtomedi as well. They're having a lot of success in the Metro East, but they just played a non-conference game on Saturday, getting the 2-1 victory over Centennial. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled hard towards the football stadium to our right here. Gorgeous afternoon here from Mahtomedi High School. Slight breeze blowing towards left center field, but shouldn't be too much of a factor this afternoon. Here's the pitch from Felling. That one misses high and outside. Count moves to 2-2. 2-2 pitch from Felling. And that one's fouled to play. Good battle by Braunhausen at the dish. For St. Thomas Academy, they're sitting at 2-2 overall on the season, 2-1 in the Metro East. They're just averaging about 6.75 runs per game. Sitting at a pretty good benchmark to start the early campaign. That one's grounded out towards short. Fielded on the run. Throw across body. Got him in time. Nice strong throw on the run. Will retire Braunhausen. So while we have a moment, why don't we take a look at your starting defense for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Left to right in your outfield, Decker, Loida, and Wisely. Left to right across the infield, Fulter, Eiton, Rubish, Finn. And then on the bump, Ethan Felling. Behind the dish, Peyton Whitbeck. His first pitch is in there for a strike to Jack Wright, the pitcher for the Cadets and UW lacrosse commit to play baseball. It's one of those big names you have to keep an eye out, not only at the dish, but on the bump. Count at 1-1 with a couple of down here in the top of the first inning. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Great location by Felling. Felling, a University of Minnesota Gophers commit. So looking to play some D1 ball after his high school season. Good breaking ball, drifts into the right or left-handed batter's box. Count moves to 2-2. Allen fires in there, grounded down the first baseline, and will just trickle foul pretty close. Talking Mahtomedi, they're at 5-1 overall on the season, 3-1 in the conference. They're averaging about 6.16 runs per game, not too different from the Cadets. For their conference wins, they have wins against Hastings, Simley, and North St. Paul, and lost one conference game against a really good Two Rivers team back on April 9th. That one's in there. No, that one misses, excuse me. Count moves to 3-2. For the Cadets, conference wins they have against South St. Paul and Hastings. Their only Metro East Conference loss came against Hill Murray as that pitch just misses. And Jack Wright will draw a walk for the Cadets for the first base runner of the game. That'll bring up the catcher, Andrew Most. Jack Wright will be subbed off with a courtesy runner. If you don't know baseball very well, that is a very common thing. Pitchers and catchers are both allowed a free courtesy runner whenever they're on the base pass. Swing and strike one, good fastball from Ethan Felling. So in this scenario, the Cadets opting to get a speedier runner out there for Wright. You more commonly see that with catchers than you do pitchers, but every pitcher has their routine. That's hit that inside corner. Doesn't miss by much. Count at 1-1 with a runner on first with 2 down here in the top of the first inning. One. Nice breaking ball, drops a foot as the count will move to 1-2. Pretty standard lead over at first base. Felling will look at him. He will throw it towards the dish. That one's inside. Count will move to 2-2. That one will miss once again, so Felling struggling with control here in the early stages as we get another full count, in danger of walking his second batter in a row after retiring the first 2. Here's a pitch from Felling, runner goes and got him to chase, but dropped third strike. He'll make the throw all the way down, and that will retire the side. So no damage off a Jack Wright walk, as we remain scoreless, moving to the middle of the first inning.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy. It's a commitment. Especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is being prepared for the journey ahead. Love doesn't let any concerns go unsaid. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Love protects.
Back into Mahtomedi High School for Metro East Conference Baseball here on SCC Sports. Hunter Pinky on the call for today's action. Gorgeous afternoon here for a baseball game, and a gorgeous time to take you through the Mahtomedi batting order. Leading the way will be the shortstop Isaac Eiton, followed by the pitcher Ethan Felling. Batting third will be Winston Wisely, the right fielder. Batting fourth, Cody Loida, the center fielder, followed by Connor Finn, the first baseman. Nathan Affolter will be at third. Batting after him will be Peyton Whitbeck, the catcher, Jacob Rubish, the second baseman, and rounded out by Lakin Decker out in left field. Let's hit the Cadet defense left to right in your outfield. Dominic Baez, Charlie Probst, Samuel Nilsson. Left to right on the infield, Bennett Fritz, Cole Braunhausen, Ethan Ruiz, and Leighton Gates. On the bump is Jack Wright, and behind the dish, Andrew Most. Story of the game for the Cadets will be keep an eye on Jack Wright, and if he is having one of his on days, Mahtomedi will definitely have their work cut out for him. Lefty on the bump, first pitch, grounded up the middle out towards short. Fielded on the hop and gets a nice strong throw for out number one. So one pitch, one swing, one out. As we move to Ethan Felling, the pitcher looking to help his own cause. First pitch. That one's popped up towards the left side of the infield. Braunhausen is calling for it, and he'll get the second out of the inning on a routine pop-up. That'll bring up Winston Wisely. Wisely playing right field today for the Zephyrs. Zephyrs wearing the all whites with the navy helmets and the navy socks with the yellow stripes and the yellow ball caps. Cadets in the all grays, navy hats. Both teams wearing a couple of fine set of uniforms today as that one hits the outside corner. Count will move to 0-2. On 2. Breaking ball misses high and outside. Count moves to 1-2. Touched on it a little bit pre-game, but for St. Thomas Academy, they've made 5 straight state tournament appearances with their last win coming back in 2019 as they get the strikeout to retire the side. So a quick 1-2-3 inning from Jack Wright will quickly send us to the top of the second inning. We'll be right back. You're watching SCC Sports. Welcome back into Mahtomedi High School for more Metro East Conference baseball. Start of the second inning. First pitch was a strike fouled off by Samuel Nilsson, the right fielder, and great rebound pitch there, advancing the count to 0-2. Like I was talking about at the end of the first inning, St. Thomas Academy has made the last 5 state tournaments with 1 state tournament victory back in 2019. Drop third strike. Misses the tag, but a nice throw down will retire Nilsson for out number 1. Their state tournament victory came against Benilde St. Margaret 1-0 back in 2019. And ironically, back in 2023, they won the consolation bracket against Benilde. This will bring up Ethan Ruiz. Ethan Ruiz playing second today as that one misses in the dirt. Count moves to 1-0. Ruiz had a very nice day on the bump last week against South St. Paul, only allowing 1 run, and really only ran into trouble in the opening frame of that game. I had the pleasure of calling that one, and it really showed how strong St. Thomas is up and down, but Mahtomedi here to show what they've got as well. 2-0 delivery. That one's chopped out towards third. Fielded on a hop, strong throw will get him for out number 2. So another quick start to the top of the second inning, as that brings up Bennett Fritz, the third baseman. On the other side of things for Mahtomedi, they are no stranger to the state tournament as well. They have made the last 2 state tournaments, unfortunately unable to come away with the victory in either of those. Last year they fell to Totino Grace at Target Field 2-1, and then in 2023 lost to New Prague 5-3 when that was over at CHS Field for a season. That pitch misses, count moves to 2-0. The last time the Mahtomedi Zephyrs missed the state tournament was back in 2019. Oddity, if you would, as that one misses high and outside, count moves to 3-0. I imagine Coach Thompson will put on the red light here for Bennett Fritz. Here's the pitch from Felling. Took that one right down the heart as that one moves to 3-1. Here's the pitch. That one's fouled back towards the netting above the Zephyr dugout. One of the few high school facilities with netting all around the ballpark, safety netting. It almost feels like CHS Field, Target Field, where they kind of added that extended netting for additional protection. As swinging strike 3, and Ethan Felling takes care of it all himself as we head towards the bottom of the second inning. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Metro East Baseball on SCC Sports.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd?
He got a collapsed lung from vaping.
He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
First pitch to Cody Loida is in there for, or misses for a ball. Thanks for choosing to join us on your Monday afternoon here with some Metro East Conference baseball. That one's fouled straight back towards the stands. Speaking of crowd, great crowd on hand today. Seeing plenty of Zephyr fans, seeing plenty of Cadet fans in attendance. Kind of spread out down the lines and right behind the backstop. As you can see, dead middle of your screen, these bleachers are packed full. Good breaking ball, misses high. Count moves to, I believe it should be 2-1, and yes, it will be 2-1. There's a shot of Cody Loida. That one's fouled straight back to the backstop. Two-2 delivery from Jack Wright. That one's chopped out towards short. Braunhausen steps, fires in a nice scoop over at first base to retire Loida. That was Leighton Gates with a nice defensive stop to prevent an error on the scorebook. That'll bring up Connor Finn. Left-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Good spot, just misses. Count moves to 1-0. Talking a little more Mahtomedi. Back in 2022 state tournament, they won the consolation bracket against St. Francis as that one's fouled back towards the TV truck down the third baseline. And then they won the state tournament back in 2021 with a 20-3 victory over Grand Rapids. That pitch misses outside. And then there's that 2020 oddity break on the score season. Obviously, we kind of know that was the COVID season, and unfortunately, no games were played at all just due to the timing of the season, as that one might have hit a fan down the line. As you can see a good shot of fan picking up that ball with their child. Pitch fouled straight back once again. Good battle by Connor Finn. I talk about it a lot on most of my broadcasts, but in the game of baseball, there's no getting around your role and your importance in the game. You can't run out the clock. You have to face every pitch. You have to face every situation head on, and that's why for me the importance of quality at bats is what's going to really figure out who's going to win this game, as that one misses low and inside. And a lot of times a quality at bat isn't just getting a single, getting a double. A lot of the time that is just, if you get 6+ pitches, that's a quality at bat. And this is a quality at bat as Connor Finn draws a walk. But anytime you can be productive at the plate, hitting the ball hard even though it's caught, driving up the pitch count to 6 pitches, that's making that arm talent work harder and wears them out of this game. It's not like softball where you can throw 150 pitches in the game and still maybe pitch the next day. This is Nathan Fulter, excuse me. First pitch is fouled out of play. For me, it's always been the team who will have the most quality at bats. They might not, and quality at bats don't always have to be flashy. It can be a bunt. It could be a ball you put in play, but they kicked it. That's an error. You reached base. That's a quality at bat. There's an infinite number of ways to drive up your quality at bat total. Pickoff attempt, not in time. Just keeping an eye on him over at first base. Here's the pitch. That one got away from him and will kick towards the backstop, and that will allow Connor Finn to advance on the passed ball. One and one. Finn on second base. And that pitch is in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-2 with one down here in the bottom of the second inning. Pitch lined hard towards third, and that gets through. Finn will round third. He's heading for home. Strong throw is cut off, and that will allow the runner to advance to second. And the Mahtomedi Zephyrs take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second inning. Fulter getting our offense started here. This will bring up Peyton Whitbeck, the catcher. That pitch hits the outside corner for strike number one. Whitbeck rocking the stirrup socks with that yellow piping on it. I'm a big fan of Mahtomedi socks. And then for those, this might be your first time hearing me on SEC TV. I'm a very big uniform aficionado, so that is a lot of my talk. That one's hit hard down the first base line, drifts foul, especially for the game of baseball. Let's take a look back at the last hit and run. Just found the right spot and allows the first run of the game to score. That one's blooped into center field and down for a base hit. Fulter will round. He's heading for home. Throw on the money, but can't get the tag down. Now throw to second. And he's in there safely. So back-to-back singles allowed for a couple of runs to come in, and again, just found the right gap. A little hesitation on the relay, and that allows the run to come in to score, and that allows Whitbeck to move all the way up to second base, and those are the little things you need to do. Here's another look at that last base hit. Again, strong throw. It's just you can see he waited just a second, and the throw was just a little too awkward for the catcher to make a tag. So Mahtomedi finding their offensive spark here in the bottom of the second as we have Jacob Rubish at the dish. Runner on second here, only one down. And that pitch hits the outside corner. Count moves to 0-1. Another good breaking ball, this time nowhere to go. Count will move to 1-1. Looks to runner back. That's fires, and that one's lined down the first baseline and will trickle into right field. Runner's rounding third and heading for home. Throwing to second, not in time, and kicks away. But back another run on an RBI double by Jacob Rubish extends this lead to 3-0 over the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Here's a good look at that. Just trickled right down that line for a nice double. One thing got to be careful of is the third baseman didn't back it up right away, and that celebration, his late celebration at second did kind of prevent him from advancing. However, with the 3-0 lead in pretty good shape, as this is Lakin Decker. That's grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Runners rounding third, heading for home. And he'll have to eat it out in center field as the Mahtomedi Zephyrs extend their lead to 4-0, opening up this can of worms on a bright sunny day. So all the offense coming from the bottom half of the order as we finally work our way back to the top as we get another good look. Again, just finds the hole and has a little bit of trouble out in center. That first pitch to Isaac Eiton is in there for a strike. He grounded out to short in his first plate appearance. Double play in order as he throws over to check on the runner. Speedy Decker over at first. Decker also a hockey player, and he was one of the voices of the Metro East Conference sportsmanship series from 2023-2024. There's a good shot of Decker on your screen. Had a chance to work with him during that series, working with the conference. Great guy, always well composed. That one's chopped out in the gap and finds its way through for another base hits, and Mahtomedi is on fire now with runners in first and second with a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the second inning, and we're going to get our first mound visit of the afternoon. Here's a look at that last play. Just sneaking through. Wise decision by Decker to hold up at second. While we have a pause in the action, let's take a look at the Metro East Conference standings. And Metro East Conference, one of the best conferences, I think, in the Southeast Metro. You can see Two Rivers at the top, Mahtomedi sitting at third, St. Thomas at fifth, and Simley kind of sneaking up in there with some early surprises. And you never really know how the Metro East is going to flip out early season, especially seeing that Simley team's near the cellar all season, starts near the top and making a strong push. But it's really a conference where anybody can beat anybody. So you have to bring your A game to almost every single game. As check swing, did he go? Yes, sir. As the second base umpire gives his approval. This is Ethan Felling, the pitcher looking to help his own cause. Popped out to short last time up as that one misses. Count was to 1-1. Also want to thank all the Town Square television viewers tuning into this afternoon's contest. Always appreciate the sharing of feeds and promotion of coverage. We know they share a lot of games with us and we share a lot of games with them. Kind of the benefit to having a very similar conference load, with SEC covering, Mahtomedi and Tartan, Town Square getting Two Rivers, South St. Paul, STA, and more. Especially for what this could affect the conference title. Breaking ball forces Felling to get out of the way. Count was to 2-2. Wright will look back the runner, sets, fires, good breaking ball, got him. That one dropped a foot, just hitting that outside corner, and catches Felling looking. And what was a filthy sequence of pitches, which will bring up Winston Wisely. Wisely struck out last time at the plate. That one's sent out towards left field. And Baez is able to get under it, and that will retire the side, but not before the Mahtomedi Zephyrs punch a 4-hole on the scoreboard as we move to the top of the third inning. You're watching Metro East Baseball here on SCC Sports.
I'm here today because of Tanya's relentless efforts in trying to get me healed. When I came back from the war, I became a homeless veteran. I was barely hanging on by a thread. The one thing that was constant for me was music. Music led me to Tanya. Normally with a veteran, we think we can solve everything. The truth of the matter is we cannot.
I just knew that something was different, something was off. I let him know that he wasn't alone. There are people that loved him.
And says, Michael, I know you've got a plan to take your life today, but if you give me just 5 more minutes to love you.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, honey, 5 more minutes to love.
Michael has actually taught me what it looks like to accept help.
Welcome back to Mahtomedi High School for the bottom of the second inning. Hunter Binky on the call for today's action. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs just scored 4 runs in the bottom of the second. Now St. Thomas Academy looking to respond, and excuse me, we're in the top of the third. I misread our little graphic, but regardless, in for a great day of baseball as we have Leighton Gates stepping up to the plate for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Good shot of pitcher Ethan Felling. That pitch misses. Count will move to 1-0. Check swing holds back. Count moves to 2-0. Here's a pitch. That one misses as well, 3-0. As we get time, and Whitbeck wants to have a brief conversation with his pitcher, Felon. Make sure you're okay, settle him down. Going 3 straight balls, always needs a little bit of a conversation. Settle him back in, he's got the lead. That tries to hit the inside corner, but just misses, so it's a 4-pitch walk for Leighton Gates. And that'll be St. Thomas's first runner since the first inning, which was also a Jack Wright walk. This will bring up Dominic Baez, the left fielder, multi-sport athlete for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. That one's chopped into the gap and gets through for a base hit. So St. Thomas has their first hit of the afternoon, now advancing the runner to second, setting up a huge first and second situation with no one down here in the top of the third. Here's a look back at that swing. And not trying to do too much, finds the right gap and plugs it through for a base hit. And again, Dominic Baez being one of those multi-sport athletes, which is one thing the Metro East Conference does extremely well, is pushing multi-sport athletes. Baez plays football, starting running back, basketball, just fell shy of the state tournament, and now baseball as his third sport. That's kind of where a lot of college teams look for too. Did you play multiple sports? Did you get involved in multiple activities? Reaches that a bunt. That one is in the zone. Count moves to 1-1. As we're back to the top of the order with Charlie Probst. Flew out in his first plate appearance. 1-1 delivery. Going bunt still, and that one's fouled straight towards the Zephyr dugout. One and two is our count. Runners on first and second here with no one out in the top of the third. 4-0 is our score in favor of the Zephyrs. Breaking ball down to Chase as he'll take the slow walk back to the dugout on the swinging strike three. I'll bring up Cole Braunhausen. He grounded out last time at the plate. We'll be looking for some offense here out of their shortstop. That one's hit hard towards the gap, and that is down for a base hit. 1 run will score for sure. He's heading into second with a stand-up double. Another runner coming home. Throw is not in time, and the Cadets narrow the gap by 2 on a double by Cole Braunhausen. Here's a look back at it. Again, just put a good swing on it, sent it towards the gap, and good quick relay to get that one back in there. Unfortunately, missing that first cutoff allowed the second runner to trail right behind and score. As Jack Wright steps in looking to help his own cause as he goes fishing on that one and can't connect. Count moves to 0-1. Jack Wright was our first base runner of the game, drawing a walk, so technically 0 for 0 on the day. If you're not a baseball viewer, walks do not count on the stat sheet, and good pitch gets him to Chase. We'll move to 0-2. Runner on second, 1 down here. 4-2 is our score as the St. Thomas Academy Cadets score 2 on a 2 RBI double. Attaboy. That one's fouled towards the lacrosse field. Count will remain 0-2. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball chopped down the line and just trickles foul. Count will remain 0-2, and this is a good example of an at-bat where it started somewhat poorly, but then he's battled back into a near quality at-bat just by forcing him to keep throwing pitches. And if a couple of more here, and you can argue he's got that quality at-bat, making Mahtomedi's starter work a little harder as he blasts it by Jack Wright for the second strikeout of the inning. But Ethan Felling takes it himself for the second out of the inning. The trouble's not over yet as Andrew Most steps to the dish, struck out his first time at the plate. Looking to change his luck here in the top of the third inning. First pitch from Felling. Fouled straight back towards the backstop. Count moves to 0-1. Not liking the call. Shakes it off now. Set to go. Runner on second here. 2 down. Good pitch and great location is in there. Count moves to 0-2. Most wants to shorten up that swing. Felling looking to limit the damage to 2. Can he do it? As Most will call time. Wisely calls time. Stallings' pace of play starting to slow down a little bit more. He runs into a little more trouble. That pitch misses high. Count moves to 1-2. Steps, fires, breaking ball, got him to chase. Now in the dirt, he'll have to make the throw down, and he does. And the side is finally retired, but not before the St. Thomas Academy Cadets get 2 off a 2 RBI double and narrow the gap to a 4-2 lead in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. We'll take another quick break. You're watching Metro East Conference Baseball on SCC Sports.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call.
Back here for the bottom of the third inning for Mahtomedi High School. 4-2 is our score in favor of the Zephyrs. As you can see, 5 hits versus St. Thomas Academy's 2, but they made those 2 count, throwing a couple on a 2 RBI double. We're talking coming into this game preseason-wise, both of these teams are ranked in the top 10. Mahtomedi getting ranked number 2. St. Thomas Academy down at that number 8 spot. So clearly both teams showing high level of play in those preseason rankings. Proven to be pretty accurate in the early stages as first pitch misses high and outside to Cody Loida, who grounded out in his first plate appearance. Breaking ball just doesn't drop enough as the count moves to 2-2, or 2-0, excuse me. That one's fouled straight back towards the fence. That one's fouled back again, dead straight back. But for Mahtomedi, again, looking for another trip to the state tournament. They are pretty consistent. At least they have been since 2014. Since 2014, the only year they missed the state tournament was back in 2019. Otherwise, it's been all Mahtomedi to come out of their section. Looking to add a few more pieces of hardware to the trophy case as he gets a strikeout of Cody Loida. This will bring up Connor Finn. Connor reached on a walk and would come around to score. First pitch, it's fouled straight back. Lots of aggressive hacks coming from the Zephyrs. They've seen right once through the order, and this is kind of the territory where we started to see them open up on Jack Wright. Hits the outside corner, great location and great pitch by Jack Wright. Count moves to 0-2. Looking for the punchy. Here it is. And that one misses high at the helmet. Count moves to 1-2. Breaking ball fouled. I think it went off the umpire, so most will come out there, take even just taking the extra 2 seconds right there, just to make sure the ump has the time, make sure he's okay. That is great character from the catcher most. Even little hits like that can add up. As that pitch misses, count will move to 2-2. Even on little minor swings like that, it can hurt a lot. No matter what kind of padding or protection you have, you feel every single hit as a catcher and as an umpire. Good breaking ball, got him, strike 3. So that is Jack Wright's second strikeout of the inning. Now bring up Nathan Affolter. Had a single with an RBI. And would come around the score. Last time at the plate. Folter opting for the barehanded approach, one of the rare hitters that doesn't use any batting gloves, prefers the natural feel of the tape. That one misses high and outside. Comes to 2-0. Got to see it, there he is, barehanded. Don't think he needs any pine tar on that guy, because that one's fouled. Backing out of play. And that pitch, great location in there for a strike. Count moves to 2-2. Looking to do it all himself, the pitch. And he's going to appeal down. He did not go, but a great pitch by Jack Wright will move the count full. And we'll see if he can finish this inning strong. That one's sent out to left field, and it's carrying back towards the fence, and that's gone! Nathan Affolter with his home run here to extend the lead to 5-2 in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Just when Jack Wright looked like he was going to have a commanding 3-strikeout inning, Affolter sees a 3-2 pitch and cranks that one to left field for a home run. Here's a look at that home run, just a great swing, and it kept carrying and carrying. Goes off the brick side of the building. Again, I did talk about the wind a little bit earlier. That one's sent right up the middle. Gives it off to second by Ruiz, and a nice scoop by Gates over at first. That wind was carrying right to where that home run ball was hit. But as the side is retired, we will now take a short break. We are covering Metro East Conference baseball here on SEC Sports. Don't go anywhere.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we are at our best, we have more to offer the world around us. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back into Mahtomedi High School for more Metro East Conference baseball as we move to the top of the fourth inning, but not after a Mahtomedi Zephyr home run extends the lead 5-2. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good, gorgeous afternoon here for baseball from Mahtomedi High School. There's a good shot of Nathan Affelter, who clobbered that home run to left field. Now the Cadets looking to respond as Samuel Nilsson steps up to the dish. That one sent out toward short. Nice field on a hop. Strong throw will retire Nilsson for out number 1. This will bring up Ethan Ruiz. He grounded out to third last time at the dish. I mentioned it earlier, but he had a very solid start on the bump versus South St. Paul last Wednesday, excuse me. Foul tip right into the glove. Count moves to 0-1. Not sure when the Cadet bullpen will get active, but Ruiz could be one of the arms they look for. It's a good breaking ball in there for strike 2. Count moves to 0-2. Good shot of Ethan Ruiz. Here's a pitch. Great location, got him looking, strike 3. And the strikeouts are starting to ramp up for Ethan Felling on the bump. Take a look back at this one. Just a good location, and that was a great frame job as well by Peyton Whitbeck. Back behind the plate, and the art of framing a pitch slowly starting to go away. Thankfully not at the high school level. Breaking ball got him to chase. Count moves to 0-2. This is Bennett Fritz at the plate. But with the ABS system being introduced in Major League Baseball, challenge system starting to move towards more automated calls. That one sails wildly to the backstop, one he just kind of lost. But so far, I've seen a lot of it with the St. Paul Saints and both methods, automatic balls and strikes and the challenge system. For me personally, the challenge system still keeps that art, as that's fouled straight back to my viewing area behind the backstop. But the challenge system has been the most favored, and I would be inclined to agree. Still allows for framing to be important, but just adds another mental aspect to the game. That one trickles into the other batter's box. Count moves to 2-2. Having those challenges and maintaining them, losing them is another whole aspect to managing the game, which I think is beneficial than just automatic balls and strikes, as he's automatically walking back to the dugout after another big punch out from Ethan Felling to retire the side. So we move to the bottom of the fourth inning. We're going to take another break. You're watching Metro East Conference Baseball on SEC Sports.
Danny. See me after class. Okay, so, Jennifer? Yeah? Okay, let me know.
Danny, I just got this notice from your school. We need to talk. This is important. We need to talk.
Danny! Laps.
Danny!
He's overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carry naloxone. You could save a life.
Back here for the bottom of the fourth inning here from Mahtomedi High School. So far, Mahtomedi is slowly trickling away with a lead here. Still a 3-1 lead as we move to the bottom of the fourth, looking to extend it by a couple more. Jacob Rubish at the plate first. Hit a double and scored last time at the dish. That one misses for ball one. Pitch. Great breaking ball. Couldn't have missed by a bunch. Count moves to 2-0. Wright opting for the arm sleeve as a pitcher. That pitch misses inside. Not something you see super common. Been more popular at the high school level because I know there's very specific rules on gear that you can have on, as that one just clips the corner. Count moves to 3-1. He thought he was making his way all the way down the first base line. That one's fouled down the line. And we can confirm their first base coach does have hands. It's a game I always like to play, is when they're kind of fouled down the lines. Can both coaches practice what they preach? And so far, Mahtomedi doing a good job at practicing what they preach. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one misses as Mahtomedi draws another walk to open up the frame. That'll bring up Lakin Decker. He had a big single that brought home a few back in the second inning. Second inning where they opened up the can of worms with a 4-run spot, then following the third with a big home run to get us to 5. Runner on first. Wright will try to hit the outside corner, just a little too far out. Count moves to 1-0. Wright will throw over, and not in time. Just a keeping them close kind of throw over. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses outside. Count moves to 2-0, and Jack Wright is running into control problems here. Needs a quick ground ball. Get some support on the backside. Here's a pitch. Another good breaking ball. This time finds the corner. Count moves to 2-1. Next few games coming up for the Thomas Academy as he throws back over. On Tuesday the 22nd, that's tomorrow, they will take on Tartan at home, and will take on North St. Paul on Wednesday the 23rd. Then we'll round out the week with a date with Two Rivers, who's having a strong campaign. That one misses. Count moves to 3-1. Again, can't sleep on anyone in this Metro East Conference, especially during a 4-game week for the Cadets. So arm management and pitch management is going to be key here for the Cadets, as that one's in there for a strike. Make the count now full. Three-two. And that one misses outside. Runner took off, but doesn't matter with the drawn walk. So after a couple of walks, we move back to the top of the Zephyr order with Isaac Eiton, who reached on a single last time at the plate. For Mahtomedi, tomorrow they will take on Hill Murray, followed by a date with Tartan on Wednesday, and then on Friday, We'll have a match with South St. Paul. Ball kicks away, and both runners will advance. So dangerous opportunity with a couple of runners in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Ayton looking to blow open this game. Infield playing on the grass. That pitch is in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-1. Playing up to limit anything. Quick look over or go home with the grounder. That pitch misses. Count will move to 2-1. Right will set, fire, as that one misses low. Again, starting to run into control issues here. Wondering how short the leash is here for right on the bump. Here it is, grounder out towards first, diving is Gates, but it squeaks through. One run will score. Second is right behind him, and the throw is cut off. So Mahtomedi extends the lead by 2 more on the hit by Isaac Ayton. So 7-2 is our score here in the bottom of the fourth, no one out, and they're just gonna let Jack Wright keep working. Here's a pitch. Good breaking ball, sent right up the gut, through for a base hit. Ayton will round third, he's heading for home. Rainbow throw will be cut off by the first baseman, Gates, as the lead is now 8-2 in favor of the Zephyrs. So now 8-2 in favor of the Zephyrs as Winston Wisely will come up to the plate, but not before we have a mound visit with Bobby Thompson, the head coach of the St. Thomas Academy Cadets, checking in. Take a look back at that last base hit. Again, just found the right spot. Sneaking through right up the gut. Not doing too much, just putting good contact and allowing another run to score. Now it looks like we do have a pinch runner over at first base. That is number 15. I believe Peyton Erickson. First pitch to Winston. Misses. Count moves to 1-0. Want to confirm that substitution. And that is Peyton Erickson on the base path for Felling. And correction, that is not a pinch runner, it is a courtesy runner. Difference is extremely important, affects your substitution total. In case you didn't know, for baseball, starters can exit the game one time but are allowed to re-enter. Any substitutions into the game are not allowed to re-enter. However, with the courtesy runner rule, it is basically a free substitution. 2-1 to Wisely. That one's sent down the left field line, and that's off the wall. As the wise man will have to hold back at first base with a single. So now runners at first and second. Here's another look. Just a little bit short, but a nice job getting the long base hit. will bring up Cody Loida, excuse me. Grounded out and struck out. 0 for 2 on the afternoon. That pitch misses. Count moves to 1-0. So far, no one down still. Runners first and second. Jack Wright just looking to get out of this. Back to right. Sets and fires. Nice play. For the first out of the inning, but it does allow both runners to advance. And that's a good example where I talk quality at bats. While that goes against your stat line, it does work almost like a bunt because both runners advance. So that's productive at bats, that's quality at bats, moving that total forward for the Zephyrs. I'll bring up Connor Finn. Strikeout and a walk so far in a couple of plate appearances. That one misses inside. 1-0 to Finn. Ooh, good location, just misses. Count moves to 2-0, and again, another nice framing job by the catcher, Andrew Most. Here's the pitch. That one's grounded up towards second. Looks at both runners and will fire over to first base. And Ruiz did a very nice job to pause, look at the runner, then throw it to first. He didn't panic throw, didn't make a panic move. And that's exactly why you have Ruiz at second base. He made a great decision. I'll bring up Nathan Affelter. As a single and a home run so far in the contest, 2 for 2. Bare knuckle batting working so far for the Zephyrs. Good breaking ball, but just drifts off the batter's box. That moves to 1-0. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses at the helmet. Count moves to 2-0. Two down here. Runners on second and third. As that one's in there for a strike, count moves to 2-1. It's sitting at 9 for the Zephyrs, sitting at 2 for the Cadets as that one's sent out towards right field. Kind of in no man's land, and that will drop and score a run. Another one right behind him as a little bloop single by Nathan Affelter extends the lead once again, and the Zephyrs firing on all cylinders as their score moves to 10-2 here in the bottom of the fourth. You look back at it, again, just didn't try to do much. Just found it kind of in no man's land in the opposite field. As the first pitch to Whitbeck misses, 1-0 is our count. That pitch is in there for a strike, make it 1-1. That's just trying to get right through this inning. Again, both teams having a 4-game week, at least during the regular part of the week. Needing to keep in mind how safe they'll keep their arms, as we do have action out in the Cadet pen. That is number 15, Padigan Harlan, as that one's down for a base hit. Runner will around second, heads for third as the throw is cut off. And we now have another first and third situation off a Peyton Whitbeck single. Great look at that base hit once again. Another huge spot. There's another good look at Harlan getting warmed up in the pen. Don't imagine there's too much left on Wright's leash. Just unfortunately for Jack Wright, not one of his best starts. And the other important part of this game too to talk about, there are 0 errors in this game. And with these two preseason ranked top 10 teams, that should be the expectation. And it is showing this afternoon as that one sent out of play down the line. We've officially batted around here as Jacob Rubish is back up. He started the inning with a walk and came around to score. Takes a pitch, count moves to 2-0. We are officially 2 runs away from the 10-run rule. After 5 innings, if you lead by 10 or more, the game will end in the 5th inning. That pitch is in there for a strike. 2-2 is our count. Obviously, though, St. Thomas will get a chance to bat if we get to that point. Runner steps off, or takes off. A bad throw allows him to advance. Kind of an aggressive call for this scenario when you're up by 8 runs. Wonder if they were gonna try and create some chaos, an intentional rundown, but regardless, 2nd and 3rd is where we are at, as that one's fouled straight back towards the backstop. Count will remain at 2-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Couple of runners in scoring position. What can Rubish do? Good take there as the count moves full just at those letters. And again, as an official, as long as if you're maintaining these consistent spots, that's what is important. And done a fairly consistent job this afternoon as they get him to chase, and Jack Wright finally gets out of the inning, but not before allowing a plethora of runs in, and that'll send us to another break. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You're watching Mahtomedi Zephyr Baseball here on SCC Sports.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
State tournament banners in your viewpoint, and that's clearly what Mahtomedi is looking for here, looking to extend their legendary state tournament run. Fortunately, it hasn't come across the way in many state titles, but like I said earlier in the broadcast, they've only missed 1 state tournament since 2014, and that was back in the 2019 season, not counting that 2020 season where no baseball was played. But Mahtomedi on track, taking care of one of the top opponents in Class 3A. That pitch is in there for a strike. Count moves to 0-2. This is Leighton Gates. so far has made a couple of nice defensive plays over at first and at the plate. Only one plate appearance, but he reached on a walk and would come around to score. So Layton having himself a very nice afternoon. And that one paints the corner and gets him for the first strikeout of the 5th inning. And Ethan Felling has been firing on all cylinders in this game. If my unofficial stat tracking is accurate, that was his 7th punchy of the afternoon. This is Dominic Baez for the Cadets. Singled and came around to score last time up. Here's the pitch. Good location by Felling. Count moves to 1-1. Again, we kind of talked about Mahtomedi's legacy, but St. Thomas always does a fantastic job and has made the last 5 state tournaments, as that's chopped out to short, and that is our official first error of the ball game. So Baez will reach first base on an error by the shortstop, Isaac Eiton. And it is officially credited on the scoreboard as an error. Fortunately, just took a funny hop on him. Which allows for a Cadet base runners. That's hit hard down to left and in for a base hit. So quickly, the St. Thomas Academy Cadets have a runner on first and second as Charlie Probst gets his first base hit of the day. This will bring up Cole Braunhausen. Braunhausen had a big 2 RBI double back in the 3rd, and he's the guy you need right now at the plate. Come up with a big hit with 1 down. That pitch misses. Count moves to 1-0 as we got some more bullpen activity, this time for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. They're going to get Andrew Sokol up and throwing in the pen. That's chopped out to 3rd. Bumped it and still got him in time for the out. But both base runners do move up, as we now have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 down here in the top of the 5th. That'll bring up Jack Wright, looking to get one more at bat. Not sure if he'll be back or the bottom of the 5th inning, but looking to squeeze in one more at bat. First pitch is in there for a strike. And again, this is kind of where you'll see that substitution rule coming into play, because if they want to take Wright out of the game and sub a new pitcher, he would be able to re-enter just for his bat. That pitch misses inside. Count moves to 1-1. Andrew Most on deck for the Cadets. Now here's the pitch. Great location, got him to chase on the inside part of the plate. Count moves to 1-2. One and 2 pitch from Felling. That's fires. Good breaking ball, foul tip caught for another strikeout, and that will retire the side. And it, once again, the Mahtomedi Zephyrs allow some base runners but minimize the damage as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're watching Metro East Baseball here on SCC Sports.
Did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1. What's this?
We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency.
Thanks, Tita.
Oh, man. Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for the dolly.
I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
Heading Harlan into the game for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets, as Jack Wright's day on the bump is officially concluded, allowing 10 runs over 4 innings. The senior right-hander looking to get a quick scoreless inning, which has come at a premium so far. They opened the game with a 1-2-3 inning. Otherwise, it's been all Mahtomedi Zephyrs scoring onslaught of 4 innings back in the second, home run back in the third, and then in the fourth, cracking open can of worms, scoring another 5, getting us to 10-2 as our score. Good look at that dugout. Obviously pretty quiet in there. These are going to be the games that happen as you see more action over in the pen. Lucas Connery getting some warm-up tosses in. This will bring up Laken Decker, the left fielder. Single and a walk so far, so 1 for 1 on the stat line. There's pitch. Good pitch from Harlan, or strike number 1. Harlan will set, fire, quick wind up, kind of almost 3/4 near sidearm sort of delivery. Very unique throwing style on the bump. He's also kind of opting for that arm sleeve style. Yeah, that's definitely a 3/4 kind of motion. Not quite sidearm, but definitely a tough angle to watch for if you're a fan or a player in the dugout, as you get a good look at the scenery here. A lot of sports in action. I believe lacrosse is going on the field to my right. TV left. As that pitch is in there for a strike count, moves to 2-2. So Harlan looking for his first punch out of the afternoon. And here's the pitch. That breaking ball misses, goes straight to the backstop. Count is now full. Once again, too, if Mahtomedi can score a couple, the game will end since we've managed to complete the top half of the 5th.
Yes, sir.
Trying to stop that from happening, but can't keep that pitch in the zone as Decker will draw his second walk of the afternoon. This will bring up Isaac Eiton. Big day at the plate. 1 for 2 on the afternoon with a single and a big double back in the 4th inning. It's near the helmet, count moves to 1-0. Harlan looks the runner, Decker takes off. Throw high, but in time. But he will make it under the tag safely. So Decker will have a stolen base, and that was a pretty on target throw, just not a lot on it. And again, another run in scoring position. And kind of talk about this. This was a potential matchup for the conference title. And so far, Mahtomedi making a statement against the Cadets. That one misses inside. Count moves to 3-0. Threatening to put the quote-unquote walk-off runner on first. Merlin will step off and take a moment. Again, just reminder, upcoming games for both of these squads. St. Thomas will be taking on North St. Paul, or Tartan tomorrow, North St. Paul Wednesday, and then Two Rivers on Friday, as that pitch misses and Iton draws a walk. Now bring up Ethan Felling, the pitcher. 1 for 3 so far on the day. Big single, scoring a few runs. Back in that 4th inning. And for Mahtomedi, your upcoming next 3. Tomorrow they'll take on Hill Murray. Wednesday they'll travel to Tartan. Then Friday they'll play against South St. Paul Packers here at home. First pitch, breaking ball, drifts into the outside part of the plate. That moves to 1-0. Here's a pitch. That one's popped out, sent towards center, and that's carrying back. And he's underneath and makes the catch. Runner will tag. And a late tag over at first as well, but both runners managed to advance. So now we have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Dangerous territory here for the Cadets, in danger of being quote-unquote walked off with the 10-run rule in play. Winston Wisely at the plate. Oh, we're going to get a pinch hitter, excuse me. That'll be Tanner Regan. Will do the pinch hitting duties for the pitcher. Ethan Felling, who had a nice day on the bump and even had a big base hit last time out. So we'll see what Tanner Regan can do at the dish. Here's the first pitch, and it hits him.
Hey, so what?
So now the bases are now loaded. Again, dangerous spot for the Cadets to be, but I always say in this kind of scenario, the one benefit you have right now is you can go to any base on a ground ball, but anything besides that is going to make this really, really difficult. And Cody Loida knows that at the plate. Having an 0 for 3 day, looking to change that mark.
There you go.
Check swing. Doesn't matter, it goes around 0-1. Smoke at the concession stand starting to trickle its way a little bit onto the field. Not too much of a distraction, but definitely gonna have to get your hot dog after the game as that one's low in the dirt. As you can see, a little bit hazy over there. Like I said, great crowd in attendance for this one by both squads. And thanks to our viewers on Town Square Television as well. Chopper up the middle and through for a base hit. 1 run will score, and right around him is Iton, and that's ball game. Mahtomedi scores a couple, and they manage to, quote-unquote, walk off these St. Thomas Academy Cadets, as your final score is 12-2. Unfortunately for St. Thomas, just struggling pitching on the mound, just allowed for a plethora of problems. Line score on the scoreboard sitting at 12 hits, 1 error for Mahtomedi, and then 3 hits and no errors. Take a look back at the walk-off base hit as that just got through the hole, and that would send us home here from Mahtomedi High School. And again, Mahtomedi all gas, no brakes offensively on the bump. All around a great game from the Zephyrs. Before we say our final goodbyes, we want to let you know what's going on with SCC Sports. We got a few games coming up that will be a lot of fun. Don't want you guys to miss it. Here's what we got coming up. We got boys lacrosse versus Stillwater and White Bear Lake on Thursday, April 24th at 7. Then we'll have girls lacrosse, Woodbury White Bear, big Suburban East Conference on April 29th, followed by another boys lacrosse date, which it'll be once again these Cadets of St. Thomas Academy and the Mahtomedi Zephyrs on Wednesday, April 30th at 7 p.m. So you don't want to miss any of those games on SCC, live on YouTube, locally. Check your local listings for specific details. Once again, thanks for joining us, everybody. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs win 12-2 over the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. I am Hunter Pinky. Thanks for joining me for this broadcast. We'll see you next time here on SCC Sports.